Welcome to Bridal Owner Success Stories. I'm your host, Mindi Linscomb, founder of Bridal Owner Success School, also known as BOSS. Each episode of this podcast, we will dive deep into hearing the stories of successful bridal shop owners, uncovering their biggest challenges and their valuable life lessons. I can't wait for you to get to know them as well. Let's get started. Hey guys, welcome back to the BOSS podcast, which stands for Bridal Owner Success Stories. I'm Mindi Linscomb, your host, and I have a great friend here, Candace, who's going to tell you a little bit about the name of her store and where she's located, and I can't wait for you to hear her story. So Candace, welcome to the show.
Hi, Mindy. Thank you for having me.
Yes.
So my store is Hanna Bridal in Los Angeles, California. We're actually in Diamond Bar, which is a suburb of Los Angeles, but we are Los Angeles County. Hanna Bridal is my store. Hanna is my last name. So I'm not Hannah, but I'm sure somebody will call me Hannah anyway, and that's okay. My name again is Candace, and we have been around since September of 2021.
Okay. So you started after COVID, and I want to ask you, what really made you go like, of all the career paths that I could choose, because I'm sure you have a very interesting resume prior to bridal, which I'd love to maybe hear about that too. Like, what were you doing before, and what made you go like, man, I think it would be fun to have a bridal store?
Well, my background is actually in corporate fashion. So I, I worked in fashion houses across Los Angeles and New York. So I was working for Guess, I worked for PVH, I worked for Chanel in the corporate office. And then when that got a little bit too toxic for me, I left and started doing personal styling on my own. And so I was personal styling for clients just every day, business women, entrepreneurs for about 4 years. And that is when COVID hit. And when COVID hit, I couldn't be in malls because they were closed. I couldn't be in people's homes. And I had a few shops in the area reach out to me telling me they needed somebody part-time. Would I be interested in working in bridal? So I was like, why not? So I started working at one shop in Orange County. After a month, I was managing it because I loved it so much. And it was great. And I loved managing it, and I loved the people, the stylists that worked there, but I really wanted to do things differently. And I couldn't because it wasn't my shop. And so I had an angel investor friend who said, you should just open your own. And here I am. So I stopped working there in May of 21. And then September of 21, I opened Hanna Bridal.
And here you are. And how many dressing rooms do you guys have?
2
dressing rooms, and you are staying busy. I mean, I can hear the shop right now, but do you feel like the traffic is back like a normal busy season this January and February?
You know what? It feels like it's shifting. I feel like February is getting busier than January is, which is so weird because it used to be January, February, March. I feel like January was a little bit quiet, but then we did have the fires and everything going on.
I know. How far away were you from the fires?
Pretty far, thankfully. We're about an hour away.
Okay.
About an hour 20. So, but they were popping up everywhere. So that was really scary. But I do feel like things are picking up now, thankfully.
Yeah. And you probably had a lot of people escaping from the fire area to your area. And so then you have your communities all wrapping around to support, right?
Yes.
So
yeah, and people were keeping their appointments just to kind of get away from the craziness. You know what I mean? They wanted to think about something different, which was, if I can give that to them for an hour, I'm happy to do it.
Yeah, that's amazing. Okay. So when you think of the industry of bridal, is it similar to personal styling for you, or do you feel like it's a totally different thing?
You know what? It's got its similarities. It's got its differences. I will say, for me, it's so much easier to style somebody for one day than it is for their whole life. But the thing I do notice is like women in particular just kind of picking themselves apart. And I'm just standing there like, oh my God, you look so good. And they're like, but what about this? And I'm like, what are you saying? You know what I mean? So there's the similarities in that like everybody wants to look their best and they are a little bit hypercritical of themselves, but that's kind of where I get to be a fresh pair of eyes and say like, no, you look fantastic.
Yeah, like wait up, girl.
Yeah.
This is a good one. You look
No,
good.
honestly, like The number of just like stunning brides that walk, and sometimes they come in all dolled up and they look amazing, and then sometimes they come in like their pajamas with no makeup, and I'm still like, oh my god, like you just look like this, walking around. Like I am convinced I have the most beautiful brides, but when they come in and they start picking themselves apart, I'm just like, shh, because the second you walked in, I was like, wow. So
Yes, 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 yes. And tell me about just high level for somebody that's like, hey, I want to start a bridal shop. Let's just say somebody's listening because this might be an industry. It wasn't that you had to have the funding to start up. Like some people have gotten loans from a bank, some people have done the investor route, whether that's family or friends. Like, and it sounds like that's kind of you, right? Like you didn't necessarily start out of the gate with a bunch of financing.
no.
You were able to find a partner, I guess, is what you would say.
Yes, I had a partner who was willing. He didn't know anything about the business, but he knew about me, and so he was like, "I'll give you the money, and you just run it. Hopefully, not into the ground." But yeah, that's essentially what happened. But I will say that this business is not for the faint of heart.
Hmm. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. What were some of the maybe surprises that you weren't expecting that were harder than you thought would be?
Honestly, managing designers, managing minimums, and just really getting the momentum of getting appointments and people in. It's tricky, especially where I am. There's a lot of shops. I think I offer a very unique experience and unique designers and unique dresses, but it takes time to kind of like ramp up. And I think if you have the expectation that you're going to be booked and busy from the second you open your doors, you got to manage that a little bit.
Hmm. I always felt like too, the people that did the best are the ones that were, and you're like this too, but like that are a little bit gritty, that can hit the ground and network, shake hands with people in their
Yeah.
community and really get the word out and not just open the door and like wait for like twirl their thumbs, wait for the business to come to them. Like I went out and I sought it. And I feel like that has been a huge factor to our success, right? Is like we're knocking on doors too and like, hey, I'm Candace, I have a bridal store. Like, you know, it's just not like you said, it's not going to just come to you. It's
No. And the thing that it's easy to get caught up to is, especially in this area and for areas that are highly
saturated.
saturated. Yeah, there's a lot of shops that have been around for 30 or 40 years.
Yeah.
And so though they have their traffic just coming to them because everybody knows about them. So if you're somebody who is afraid to like get out there, you don't want to put yourself out there, you're afraid of looking dumb, you're afraid of looking pushy, like it's not going to work. And when I say pushy, like you don't have to be pushy, but like if you're somebody who's like, well, I'm embarrassed, I'm afraid, like no, you that can't be how it goes. And I think that's true of any business, but
Yeah.
especially in bridal, there's so many options now. They have to have a reason to come to you. So yeah, you got to get out there and get your name out there and let people know who you are as a person and as an owner.
I love that. And when it came to team, like, I think you have a team, but even if it's a one person team, I just am curious, did you start just by yourself at the beginning and then eventually add someone? Or have you started with someone helping you the whole time?
Started by myself, and then it's really just me and my sister who she has a whole other career, but she helps me on the weekends when I'm busy.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, because I usually don't have to open both fitting rooms during the week, but on the weekends I do. So she's there with me.
Like Saturday and Sunday, she's there with you?
Hmm.
Okay. And do you guys feel like you're I don't know, some people are like, I do better when I'm in a team selling environment because if they think of something I didn't think of, do you feel like that helps you?
I do feel like it helps for sure, especially when I'll tell you here at my shop, not to toot my own horn, but we're really good about listening to the bride and pulling just based on what she says when she's in her dress. That really informs my next pull. And so she and I are really good at pulling something that the bride never would have considered, but just based on what we're hearing them say they like about one thing or don't like about something else, it kind of takes us in a different direction. And it's happened so many times where I'll hear her bride say something and I'll suggest something and vice versa. And it's not at all what the bride had asked for, but just based on the last couple of things she's tried and what she said, we're like, based on that, I feel like you'd really like this. And it ends up working out. And it's, Mindy, like
Yeah.
they come in wanting one thing, but when they try it on, it ends up being different. So they leave with something totally different. So it's really nice to bounce off of each other in that sense.
Yeah, and I'm sure it keeps it less boring for you, coming into work by yourself every day. And I don't
Yeah.
know, I like having a friend at work sometimes. So I
Yeah,
love
no, it's great, and it's great for because we have like a sisterly dynamic. It's not awkward between us. You know what I mean? So we can have fun with it, and it's fun for the people, that are there in the shop with us. So it's a good time, yeah.
Running a successful bridal shop can be challenging, but with the right support, it can also be incredibly rewarding. Hi, I'm Mindi Linscomb, founder of Bridal Owner Success School, aka BOSS. After 17 years in the bridal industry, I've developed proven strategies that drive both positivity and profitability in your business. Through BOSS, you'll receive insightful coaching, time-tested frameworks, and a community of bridal shop owners dedicated to helping each other succeed. Ready to boost your profitability and find more energy in your business? Visit bridalownersuccess.com and sign up for BOSS today. I love it. So, if you knowing what you know now, what
Hmm.
would you wish you could tell yourself in 2021 before you opened?
Um, it's going to take time, so be patient. And I think that I would have probably, if I'm thinking about what I would have maybe done differently, I wouldn't have tried to be so much to everyone. You know what I mean? Like I have realized now in this business that more is not more, and that you just got to focus in on your bride and give your bride what she needs. Um, and so I've learned that now. I would say over the last like year and a half, I've learned that. And also just like don't be afraid to take risks. It's just kind of one of those things where if it's supposed to work out, it's going to work out. So just keep going in the path that you feel is right for you, and stop trying to really overthink it. Like of course you have to be analytical, you have to analyze your business, you have to consider things, but I think like trying to do too much is really going to deter you and get you off the path that you're set to be on.
Mm-hmm. And then what do you think is the thing about the business? Because it is hard. It takes a while to make money at it. I mean, all the things. Like, what do you think's the factor that keeps you going? Like, I still want to do this for the next 10 years, for the next 20 years. Like, what is it about bridal that you're like, man, I still love it. It hooked me.
Honestly, just to be like a part of somebody's very special day, like somebody's wedding day is the most important day of their life, usually, hopefully. And like when like I see a bride who's like so happy, or somebody who was so anxious about dress shopping because they didn't think they'd find something, or they've been super anxious about it, just to see them so happy and excited, and to know that like I could be there and supporting them. And so many brides now, I don't know about you guys, but I get so many brides now that come alone because they don't want all the opinions, or their parents aren't supportive, or their friends aren't. So like for me to be able to be somebody's support system in a decision that's pretty big for that day, and then like when they send me photos and they tell me it was their dream dress, and I'm just like, like it's just so sweet. And it's a very nice feeling to be able to make somebody so happy about something, especially when they come in anxious, and a lot of them do come in anxious. It's nice to be able to put somebody at ease, and it's just like a very nice feeling for me.
I love it. It keeps you coming back.
Yeah, for sure.
And I mean, 4 years in, now you're in a good enough pattern and routine, I think, where you feel like, okay, this isn't going to be where I'm not making any money forever.
I hope not. Your lips to God's ears, Mindy.
Yes, I mean, that's something that I think people get impatient. In any career path, I feel
Yeah.
like this day and age, Candace, is like, I feel like people are wanting that quick, amazing success, whether that's in bridal or anything. And I don't know. I just keep telling my kids, I said, yeah, I'm a 17-year overnight success.
Yeah, right.
You
Yeah.
know, like
Yeah.
it took a lot of weekends. I'm still working weekends, it took a lot of weekends of schlepping mannequins, bridal shows, and making connections with people and showing that we are the people we say we are, like
Yeah.
we'll fulfill that order, we'll take good care of you, whatever it might be. And that consistency compounds, but it's not overnight.
No, no, it's not overnight. And I don't think, honestly, nobody is an overnight success. Just
Nobody.
nobody is. No matter what they tell you, nobody is. And it's exactly like you said. It's that consistency compounds, and that consistency over years compounds, and then bam, it takes off. But it's not like somebody went from 0 to 100 overnight. No, it's they've been going every single day for a year that you didn't see. What you see is like the pop off, but you didn't see everything behind the scenes. And I think that's important to even for to remind myself, like I can't be comparing myself to these stores that have been open 30 and 40 years. It just
No.
doesn't make sense, So you're totally right. Like 17 years, but
It
it's that
takes
consistency
some
that
time,
matters.
and just taking really good care of people over and
Yeah.
over and over and over and over and over and over. And then
Yeah.
eventually it's just like, oh, she has the reputation of somebody we can trust.
Exactly. Exactly
And
right.
so, and then a team of people that now they can trust because, and I always tell, what I tell my new staff too?
Yeah.
I say, you're so lucky because you're riding on the reputation of those that have gone before you.
It's true.
So you are already set ahead of the people that had to earn those stripes for you
Right.
because now you're working for a company that already is existing and strong street credibility and everything else. But when you go and you try to do your own thing, like it's going to be twice as hard. But
Yes.
what's so cool is now you just get to plug into somebody who's already ran that race. And so, I just hope people appreciate sometimes the role they get to play, that they get
Hmm.
to still make a bride feel absolutely amazing. But when they come alongside the stuff that you're earning your stripes for right now, that like they're standing on the shoulders of somebody that really paid the price.
100%. Yeah.
I mean, it's the same thing about our parents. Like, we wouldn't be halfway where we are today if it wasn't for our parents. And just remembering, like, okay, they paid the price to get us this far, and now we get to launch our kids even farther.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, even I was just talking to my sister about this the other day. I'm a first generation. My parents came from Egypt in the 70s. And like, I think about them like they came here, they didn't know the language, they didn't know the education system, they didn't know anything. And
Wow.
here I am, all three daughters, like graduated college. I have my own business. One sister works at Google, one sister's are, in mental health. Like, and it's just crazy.
It's amazing.
It is. It
Are
is.
they
It is
alive
amazing.
to see this?
My mom is. My dad sadly passed away, which is why I went with Hanna Bridal because he has three daughters and no
No,
grandkids. So I had to keep the name going.
no grandkids, you said?
No.
No, no, none of the three of you guys decided to do the thing.
No, my oldest sister's not married. I'm not married. And then my middle sister just got married actually a couple of weeks ago, but none of us have children. So yes,
Well,
she did get her dress here. Yes, she did. I charged her
okay.
double. Just kidding. But yeah, so that's why Hannah Bridal, because we were all three daddy's girls, and so I had to keep a way to
Did
maintain
he
that
pass
name.
away before you began the shop?
Yes, he passed away 2011.
Okay,
So
okay.
long
I
before,
bet
yeah.
your mom though is so proud.
She is, and it's a dream for her. She just loves, seeing the dresses, and she just loves that I'm doing my own thing. Like, culturally, everybody in our culture is like a doctor, lawyer, engineer, or whatever. And I got my passion for fashion and dressing and all that stuff from my mother. Um, and so she just loves that we're all kind of like doing our own thing, and she gets very excited about it. So
Do you
yeah.
ever put her to work?
I do. I have her take a look at my books because my mom is really good with money. So she looks at my books and she kind of manages the finances a bit. But yeah, I put her to work in that way. She's older now though. She's in her 80s, so she can't be schlepping dresses around. I mean, she probably could, but I wouldn't. but,
Right.
but yeah, I put
Yeah,
her to work
yeah.
on the back end. Yeah.
Okay, good. Well, and I'd love for you to brag for just a minute. Like, what do you feel like you're so proud that you've accomplished in the last 4 years?
Honestly, just that we're still here. And like that, seriously, because I do see, like, I see a lot of bridal shop owners after like a year or 2 or 3 years, and like I'm throwing in the towel, and I'm like, you just got here. um and I think I didn't have the expectation to make money in the first few years,
Mm,
you know what I mean? And so the fact that I haven't hasn't discouraged me yet. But honestly, just like be sticking around and all our reviews, because I don't incentivize reviews. I just ask them for them. So
yeah.
the fact that we have like so many 5-star reviews and that people are just genuinely having a good time, and honestly, seriously, the best part is like when a bride tells me like, oh, my friend bought her dress here, and so she told me to come here, is like, it's very heartwarming.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm very proud of that.
I love it. One bride at a time. Just love on
Yeah.
those girls, right? And
Yeah.
you
Try
should
to.
be proud of yourself, Candace. You should be
Thanks.
so proud. I'm
Thanks.
proud of you.
Thank you.
You are much farther along than many people, like you said, at the 4-year mark. So there's a lot to celebrate, a lot to be thankful for.
Thank you. Yeah.
And I think the best is yet to come for Hanna Bridal.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's going to be great. Well, is there anything else you'd like to share with bridal shop owners just about your journey? Or do you feel like we kind of
No,
covered?
just like hang in there, you know what I mean? And just don't overthink it. Like if this is where you feel like you're supposed to be, then keep going, but also know that you can't be everything to everybody, and nobody wants you to be.
That's good. That's really good. And like you said, those are good reminders because I think we do come in with a big heart in this industry. And then we're like, how can we save the day for everybody and everything?
Yeah. You can't.
And we can't. But we can do our part. We can do our part.
Definitely.
That little part is where we get to plug and play our gift. And then everything else is someone else's lane.
That's right. Yes, that is correct.
I love it. Well, thank you for being on the show today. Where can people follow you on Instagram or look at your website?
We're at hanna.bridal. It's HANNA.bridal on Instagram, or hannabridal.com, HANNA bridal.com.
I love it. Well, thanks for being here. And I can't wait to catch up again soon.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Bridal Owner Success Stories. I hope you found some inspiration and encouragement for your own career in the bridal industry. If you enjoyed today's episode, please make sure to like, subscribe, and share it with your friends. We are in this together.